heat our home with geothermo. Our geothermo hasn't been working very well. The geothermo does, it actually can cool our house for the summer. It keeps our house warm in the winter as well, so we can reverse that system. So what we had before is we had a loop system. So the loop system that we had, there was, I don't know how many feet of hose there was in the ground. And I believe it was actually just on the right hand side of the truck, buried about 7 feet into the ground. So what we did is was trying to find a solution why the geothermal wasn't working properly. So found an expert, Keating Mechanical. They really know their stuff on geothermal. So what the loop system, I don't think was actually working properly. I know in the winter time, by December 15th, what we noticed is that we could use the geothermal right up to December 15th, and then after that, then we have to use electric. Electric is very expensive, so we decided, well, you know, to heat the house, well, we better look at it. We got the geothermal anyways. We got that. It's in the crawl space there. So anyways, they were able to come in underneath the crawl space and almost directly where that hole was.
Straight pull a little bit. We saw it. Went in front of their house. Hey, stop. Okay, slow push, Steve. Very slow push. Okay, stop there. Rotate very slow on the spot. And just bust that up. Okay, a little more, a little more, a little more. Stop there. Water on.
Threading?
Threading, yeah.
So what's happening here is we're putting a line that's coming out of our geothermal. It's into an outlet. So where we just came from, they're in the crawl space there. They actually pulled the hose out from underneath, and they're where these red dots are. There's a line that's 7 feet underneath the ground there, and there's a machine actually pulling the hose out. So we're right on the other side of the trees here, where the house is on the other side of this bush. They're actually pulling the line back in. So they just pulled the hose out from underneath the ground from where the house is. How many feet?
This is 280 feet from where the drill started to in the basement or crawl space.
Was it a fairly easy pull?
Quite a bit easier than I expected it to be. This area of the earth is generally really crappy land.
Right.
Well, for this kind of work.
Right. You don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Well, and you can see here the remnants of the sand that we have, and you had enough of some kind of clay in here that it made it tolerable. 750 gallon tank, well, two of them, The one on the left side is our mud mix. So that's water and bentonite clay. It comes out of Wyoming. It's just clay that they have figured out is functional for this kind of work. And then we have a powdered poly mix. You ever delivered cabs?
Yes.
Okay, so you got that powder you spray glove. That's kind of reminiscent of that, like KY jelly slime. So that powder goes in, and it's the best way to mix it. You can go with that powder straight into water, but the best way to mix it is if you have this bentonite clay in first, and it binds to that. So the clay is kind of like drywall spackle.
Yes.
In the sandy conditions, it'll kind of keep a hole, and the poly will help lube it, so that when you're doing your pullback, whatever you're pulling is really easy. It gets nice and slimy and slippery. It also cleans up a little bit better at the end when you're pulling it back. There's other products that you can add depending on what you're in. There's sand busters, there's clay busters. As a general rule, we're typically just using the clay and the poly in different ratios, depending on what we're in. If we get into ground, because you don't know what you're really getting into, right?
Right.
So we kind of prepped for sand on this one, which I'm glad we did, because there's definitely sand in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were in New Bothwell in that Red River gumbo, I would have put in, this is 2 bags and 2 cups of poly. In Bothwell, I would have put in probably 1 bag and 3 cups of poly.
Okay, so you can get more slippery,
way more slimy. But you don't want to, in New Bothwell, you don't want to add too much of the clay, because then you're going clay on clay. What can happen is you pump clay down in the hole, and it swells up the clay that's already in there, and it just tightens up your hole, and then you can't do anything. So a little bit of science, a little bit of art.
well, I'm thinking it's a chemistry class.
It is. It's very much, yeah.
So we are in a crawl space. That unit there, that was the loop system valve. That is shut off. We're not using that anymore. Geothermo just is going to kick in. Right now, as we speak, there's water coming through here, coming from our well, coming into here, doing its thing, and converting that water into heat right now. And then it's exiting out down this line where they put the line in, going under the cement, concrete, under the trees, and they say that's about 7 feet in the ground, and it's exiting, the water is exiting in the ground out there. The system that they use for threading the 1-inch line, I believe it's called a horizontal drilling unit or a directional drilling unit. The other option we could have used is digging up the lawn and removing the trees, and that would have been such a big mess. And within 4 hours, they were able to put that line under the ground with no disturbing of any of the landscape. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Now, can you tell me why you are down here? You're investigating, eh?